Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to Airy Fairy Tarot. My name is Fairlight. How you doing? All right, so I have a Scorpio moon and midheaven conjunct my Uranus, so I guess I tune into Scorpio energy pretty well. I don't always get messages while I'm shuffling for every sign, and I'm really not consistent with doing signs, which brings me to the first kind of downloaded message I got while shuffling for you. And it's don't skip steps. It seems like there may be some very tedious tasks that it seems like you could skip steps and get to what you're trying to do, and there may be this impatience. And so what I'm getting is slow down and don't skip steps, because things that may seemingly be very unrelated to what like you really want and whatever you're doing, you're actually re-gridding your brain. You're relaying new information to override old programming that doesn't serve you. So there's something about don't skip the steps. Perhaps you've been asking for some structure to your life, not to be bound and caged, but structure in order so that you can more easily build what it is you are building or growing or manifesting, whatever it is. So don't skip the steps. So that was the first message. The second one actually came out in the cards, and I had seen this card and I didn't bring it out, but the message wouldn't go away. And then it came out again in another card, and then I said, gosh, I sure wish I had kept that other card out. And of course, you know how tarot works, it's spooky sometimes. Lifted up the card and there it was. So we will start with this. This is card number 21. This is a very different deck. What is it called? It is, I'm not even paying, I'm used to this, getting used to this new camera too. So it's Dreams of Gaia Tarot by Raven Phelan. And I'm just so pulled into this deck, and it's a very different deck. It reads like a tarot, but it's also very just so fucking intuitive. And so it started out with this one. It's this 21 card reversed, and it looks a lot like death. And the message I got from that is, what are you telling yourself? So I just want to say that again. What are you telling yourself, Scorpio? Like it just feels like they're with this mask and how things are in shadows, but it's reversed. If it was this way, it might be like you're cutting through and getting some sort of clarity of thought in the midst of everything else. You know, it's cutting through the darkness or whatever. But this way, it's like, what are you telling yourself? Because it feels like you're telling yourself lies that don't benefit you, but maybe it makes it easier to skip steps. But understanding skipping steps and telling yourself these things, sorry, even the back is beautiful. Telling yourself these things, you're undermining yourself. You are not building on a solid foundation because you're skipping steps to please others because it's easier, and it's like you're just trying to get through the day. But I feel like life is saying it's time to start growing your life, start planting seeds, start nourishing what you really want to create, start thinking, telling yourself things with intention. Because, and then I love how the tarot works. I didn't bring this one out to begin with, but then when I did, and underneath it was the 0 card, but it's also reversed. And so it's like, what are you telling yourself so that you don't have to make a decision? And it's really, I heard the word avoid. What decisions are you avoiding? What are you telling yourself so that you can avoid the decisions? And it feels like pretty important decisions that you need to make for your life right now. And it's that whole cliche saying, you know, sometimes not making a choice is a choice. And another way to say that is allowing choices to be made for you. And when you're going into avoidance, it's like those choices can be made for you in a pretty harsh way. And so further clarifying that same line of thinking, this is the, God, I love these beautiful cards. So upright, this would be the 10 of air, but it's reversed. But I want you to look closely at this, because you see all this energy going into the mind. Again, I feel like we're overriding, we're rewriting a lot of the messages we tell ourselves. We're rewriting our beliefs. We're rewriting the limitations, or erasing limitations. You know, rewriting all these things. Just a random thing like learn about quantum physics. Learn about your powers, Scorpio. You already know you're psychic as fuck, but you're not listening. And how do I know that? Because of what you're telling yourself. You're overriding what your heart is trying to tell you. And so, gosh, I hope you can see this. So there's this guy with his big mind, and here's this smaller person, and all of this from the mind is going into his heart. So on the one hand, I feel like that's your higher self. This big mind, this is the all mind, the great divine consciousness that is you, that is me, that is all of us. And it's speaking through you and acting as you and wanting to manifest through your heart. But reverse to that, it's like you're not listening to your heart. You're not following divine guidance. It's like, what are you telling yourself? You're avoiding. I know I'm reiterating, but and this isn't to be mean to you, Scorpio. Like I said, for me too, because not only do I have this, but I have this in my 10th house. So I'm right here with you, Scorpio. But I strongly urge you, one way it seems like to override these patterns of avoidance, because that's another pattern. And so there's like an old structure of building up on that kind of pattern of avoidance, or whatever maybe it looks like here. And then there's this card here, and it's the 7 of water reversed. And the 7 of water upright, I get a strong sense of just like letting things go. And it's not so much like the 8 of cups walking away, but I don't know. It's almost like, because it's like she's sending these fish, she's dreaming, and the fish are going out to make it happen. And the orange, I go with orange, I like to go with the chakras, and we've got a little sneak peek of that right here, Scorpio. But which this is mastery. We're going to get to mastery. But right now, it's like creating with intention. And I feel like this is very much when you're listening to that higher self, and then it sends it to your heart, you get a desire and you create with intention. You know more clearly who you are when it comes to your heart. But when you're not listening to your heart and you're telling yourself, and really it's just about giving your power away. It's like you are allowing yourself to avoid making decisions because there's people who are so comfortable stealing your power and just having you feed their world or whatever, and it's like, but that's not what you're being guided to do, and it's not healthy. And I feel that right here. There's so much that wants to come through. It's funny, when I was looking at these cards before, I thought I was going to say kind of different things, but I'll just let the cards speak and let it speak through me. But so there is something about your health being indicated here. There's more to this card that I want to say, but with this right here, it's just, and this reversed, it's like, instead of intentionally creating with this blue and being in tune with what you wish to manifest, and allowing it to be created, and using that orange sacral energy, that sexual energy to go out and manifest it, it's like you're just not listening. It's like you're kind of just going to sleep. Anytime it's time for you to create on your behalf and live this exciting life. And I relate to this. That's why I'm like, whoa, I do. I get so tired. When it's time to act, it's like I get tired. It's almost like, I almost feel like I get hypnotized. And of course, that's kind of a victim way to put it. But sometimes I feel like, gosh, I just don't have any power over it. I get distracted, or I just get so tired and I have to go to sleep. And then I even forget what it was I was planning to do. And so it's just like, it's a misuse of energy. It's a misuse of creative energy that I feel like is really abundant to you right now. But somehow, because you're just kind of maybe being a little bit lazy and letting others take your energy and defaulting in a way, just defaulting, it's affecting your health. You need to flow this creative energy intentionally, not just for the benefit of creating a life that is like so exciting and engaging that creative energy, but also just for bringing that creative energy flowing through your body will bring that nourishment in, even if you're not focusing on your health. But you might need to get out and walk more. I've been doing that. Get out and walk, drink lots of water, maybe do some fasting, eat raw fruit. There's all kinds of things you can do to increase that flow. Definitely start moving. I feel like a strong sense of moving. So, gosh, where do I want to go? Where else? So, okay, so what are you thinking? Then it also kind of feels like this avoidance thing, it could be that you're holding up too much. And so maybe it's not even other people are taking your energy. It could be that you just have a lot going on. I get the, the visual of like those plate spinners. I used to get this visual a lot. The plate spinners. And so they get one going and it's balanced and it's spinning. So, okay, that one's going, and then they move to this one and they get it spinning. But it's like, you've got so many plates to spin, and it's like, how do I choose which one to start spinning first? And so you try to get this one, but then this one's calling, and so you kind of get this one spinning, but then you got to go to this one, but then there's this one, and that very much would be Seven of Cups energy, Seven of Water reverse. So it's like, dissipating your energy one way or another. And then on the other hand, you've got so much to hold up, and it's just this imbalance I'm feeling. And again, I'm calling myself out too. It's like there's so much to do. It's very easy to shut down and or maybe get stoned. I'm guilty of that, or whatever. Just go onto Facebook or whatever it is to go into some sort of distraction. Give me a squirrel, any squirrel, where because you're maybe there's some steps you could take that are boring, or maybe you're afraid to take the steps, or it's hard to get the energy. And so really ultimately what this whole reading is about, and there's more cards for sure, but I feel like what this whole reading is about is find your discipline. Find your discipline, Scorpio. Like you have the power to do these things. You do. You've just got to push yourself, because it's like there's a weighted blanket on you that's got a screen in front of it or something. And it's not to accuse. Again, it can be drinking, it can be Facebook, it can be just any other thing. Like there's so many tasks to do that maybe you are getting things done, but there's so many other things that need to get done that you're going for this thing, but you really need to do this thing. And again, take a deep breath. I know, I fucking know the overwhelm. So then here is this Four of Earth. I really like that. But you see, like, he's holding up so much that his arm is cracking. He's a flesh and blood being, yet he's cracking like stone. It's like he's crumbling under the pressure. And so what I'm feeling, because this was over this. So first this was about health, but really what I was getting about this too is that maybe there's assistance available to you. And maybe you're being a little bit proud. Where did I see that in this? I don't even know. I think it's part of that. What are you thinking too? So maybe you're shutting out solutions. Maybe you're shutting out actual assistance, actual people coming, trying to assist you, actual solutions that are presenting. Maybe it's like, it better the hell you know, or the devil you know, than that you don't. The devil's not out here, but this is just addressing, and really, I don't want to say these are minor things, but that's what wanted to come through. In some ways, these are minor things. It's like you're clinging to a past that has outrun its time, and it's going to start affecting your life because you're killing yourself by trying to stay the same. I really feel like that's a big, strong energy. So there's solutions presenting themselves, people trying to help dig you out or whatever. And it's like there's this stubbornness. No, I've got it. No, I've got it. And you just, the stress, you cannot live under this amount of stress, and you don't have to. You just got to you've got to discipline yourself. Please discipline yourself, Scorpio. And then just allow people to assist you, or allow the solutions. It may not be what you think you want, but take a deep breath. Like, make your spine straight. I'm going to do that too. Make your spine straight. And I was feeling that too. Like, I felt like I was hunching over at the solar plexus in my back. And then it's funny because we've got the crone here, but this crone is standing up straight and tall. She's in her fucking power. It's funny, her hair is turning gray, and so is mine. So whatever, whatever, Scorpio, we're going to be the crone. But no, right now, so take a deep breath, make your spine straight. We can be powerful crones, or whatever, age and gender and all those things, but it's that wisdom that they're talking about. And we're about to go into that in a minute, but I just feel like, find your feet, because that kind of stress, that kind of energy can lead to so much panic and anxiety. And if you're feeling that kind of panic and anxiety, and over here we've got the Five of Water, which can be a lot of grief. I feel like a lot of past trauma is surfacing right now. I know it is for me. And, you know, my sister is a Scorpio. Like, there is a lot surfacing from years and years and years ago that just we never dealt with, that we just didn't know how to deal with it. We didn't know how to heal. We didn't even know how to grieve. And so some of it might be so old, it's like, it's almost like we're too tough. We're telling ourselves it's been too long, we're not allowed to grieve. But it's never too late to grieve. If you're hurting and you're feeling this pain, this sadness, then honor the grief. Honor the grief. And then I love that it's like this energy is swimming towards her. And it's like, so I love it's that Five of Cups. So honor the grief. Just know that once you have dealt with it, once you have honored it, once you've allowed some healing to come in, allowed those tears to flow and all of that, once you've allowed that to process, just know there's a brand new energy for you. You've got these rays of the sun. I'm getting used to this camera, you guys. These rays of the sun shining down. And it's like, I don't know, it's that new dawn, new day. I always want to sing Nina Simone. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, and a new life for me. And these, again, these orange fish swimming towards her. It's like new creative energy is coming through. There's a whole new adventure waiting for you as soon as you're done with this energy. But it is time to process it. It's time to process it all and allow yourself to change. Take a deep breath, allow yourself to change. And I was just like shown to remind you that you've had the South Node traveling through your sign. And I don't even know where it's at right now. I love to do astrology, and I'm bogged down by it all. I think it's at about 8 degrees, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but it's been traveling through your sign. We're purging so much. So allow the purge, allow the release, and allow yourself to shift. Allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself. I just feel like with this card too, I feel like you have so much more than maybe you're seeing. Maybe there's so much of this grieving energy that maybe it's kind of becoming a little bit toxic. And so you're telling yourself things that you don't deserve to receive. You don't deserve to live from your heart. You don't deserve to act on the things that you really want to create in your life. You don't deserve your dreams. But fuck that. Fuck that. You don't. What kind of weird ego nonsense is that? I have to prove how tough I am by proving to everyone that I don't deserve anything. And like, who are you proving this to? And are you proving it to yourself? Like, really, self, I mean it. I'm going to show you how tough we are by not being worthy of all that we'd really rather create and have. So I feel like create. The two words that really want to ring in your ears are discipline and create. And then the third one is more than one word, but it's don't skip over steps. Do the steps. And there's something that's funny how the back of these cards are just, but every time, like, I really feel like I'm singing the song of whatever the card wants to say, this light just illuminates, just sparks up. I love these cards. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Nine of Fire. And, you know, normally that would be someone like guarding the fortress, and they're wary and they're tired. But I love that this guy is like all in his power. He's like pretty rejuvenated, but you see that the fortress he's guarding is his heart. And it's the tenderness and the beauty and the sweetness of his heart. And really, it's over his kind of his throat chakra. And I like to tap my thymus. Go ahead and tap your thymus, Scorpio, because there's a lot of power, because that stimulates the endocrine system. Tap your thymus and say, I protect my beautiful sacredness. I am always bringing light in and through my being. Just remember, light is information, but darkness, we can invoke our darkness and say, I shine the light into that darkness to bring forth my creative energy. It's all about creation right now. And this guy is like, if the sun was embodied, this is like the light of the sun. If the sun were in a masculine, young masculine body, like that is like, let that creativity shine, Scorpio. And so yeah, the stem is right here at the heart, and it comes up to here. So there's something about speaking your creativity and protecting it like it's a sacred, vulnerable, beautiful part of you. And that is what your creativity is. you know, any artist, if you are an artist, if you sing or if you write or if you paint or whatever it is, whatever creative expression that you find, it's so vulnerable, especially when you allow that to be seen by others, when you make yourself vulnerable to others. But this is kind of saying, don't make yourself so vulnerable right now. You just protect that right now. It's kind of got a temperance energy right now too. It's like you just worry about finding your own balance. Not even worry, I don't like that word. You just give your focus and your attention and your love and your gratitude and your beliefs to being a nourished whole being unto yourself, a strong and powerful, you know, focus on your health. But I feel like it's a very strong focus on the health of your creative energy. Focus on the health of standing in the power of your authenticity. Focus on the health of standing in the light of your authentic creative being, you know, and I'll say in almost every video I make, I've often told my kids, well, kids, if this is character building, we're going to be stone characters. So just let all of this stuff that you are, you know, grieving and processing and emotionalizing and bringing to the surface and processing and releasing, and allow all of that to develop your authentic character. You're a character and you're a healthy character. And I love the balance of these two, earth and fire. There's so much beauty in you know, guarding and protecting that beautiful creating from the heart, that beautiful aligning yourself, understanding that prime reality is within. That's another thing you can do, Scorpio, is tap your thymus and affirm. Prime reality is within. Prime reality is within. Prime reality is within. I love singing that. And so it's protecting that sacredness within you and invoking that creative power. And so creative power can be very activating, and this is a very activating card. So it's like just only create from there, and not, you know, what are you telling yourself about some codependent bullshit in others. And, you know, maybe I get a sense of like maybe taking from others what really isn't nourishing from your being, but then refusing to accept help from others that would benefit your life. And what is with the self-destruction, Scorpio? You know, what is with that self-destruction? You're allowed to love you. I was going to say you gotta love you. I hope you love you. You're allowed to love the fuck out of you. But what are you telling yourself is self-love? And what is truly self-love? What is truly nourishing to your being? All right. So then we go on over to, we've got 4 more cards left, maybe 5. Pardon me. And I'll go with these ones. And actually, these are the cards that actually started the reading for me, but I like that they wanted to wait. They wanted this whole message to come out because now there's the guidance forward. We're recognizing the blocks in the here and now, but what can you do here and now to move you in the authentic direction of your sovereign creative flow? What is your soul's urge, your soul's destiny calling you towards? Who are you really, Scorpio? And so there's some wisdom that you carry already. There's this knowing, and whatever age, whatever gender, this crone wisdom, there's some sort of self-knowing, and it feels like whatever this is, understanding this is process. It almost wants to be like a death card, understanding that we transform through these situations when we find the courage to work through it and make a different choice, make a new choice, make a choice that is more advocating for our soul's truth, more advocating for our creative power, you know, all these words I want to use. This raven really is catching my eye. I'm just going to sing all these silly songs to you, Scorpio, but that's what I sing to the ravens and the crows. When they come out and start singing to me, I sing back to them. But again, we're back to that throat chakra, that creative energy. We create through the throat chakra. We create through our sacral. We create through our throat. And it's moving that energy and start speaking with intention. Start speaking with motherfucking authority. with the authority of the crone, with the authority of years of wisdom. And my friend Shenandoah is in the spirit world, but a longtime friend of mine. And seems like I say this in every video I do too, but he always had this sign on the wall that said, good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from poor judgment. So it's like, don't beat yourself up if you find yourself in a place you don't like and you're not bound to it to keep making choices that don't serve you. Like, recognize the choices you're making that don't serve you and make a different choice and take the power of that. You are responsible for your life, and that's not to yell at you, it's to set you free. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your life. And I know, like, I relate to, it's such a silly thing to like I have such a problem getting stoned all the time. I love smoking weed, you guys. I fucking love smoking weed. But when I smoke it too much and too many days, I don't get anything done. And so that's blocking my creative urge. It's blocking my authentic creative power. I'm just creating by default. And so it can be about something like that, some sort of addiction you're indulging in. It can be codependency. It can be giving your power over to a toxic relationship, or it can be several things. It can be many things. It can be giving your power over to false belief systems so you know what you want to do, but the minute you go to do it, something blocks you and you get distracted. That happens to me a lot too. So power through the ADD or whatever that is, power through the distractions and take little steps. And I found like making lists really helps. Journaling really helps. Getting clear on what I'm doing really helps. And then letting go of guilt. And that's where I'm getting here too. Like, wow, there is a lot of guilt here. Like that's where the unworthiness stems from, Scorpio. You're feeling guilty about things. But here's the thing. You don't pay karma by beating yourself up. I just read something the other day about humans being so weird in that we'll make a mistake and then we'll feel bad about it and we'll even punish ourselves. But then we'll continue punishing ourselves and we'll continue ruminating on the mistake and continue punishing ourselves to the point that we're just in a constant state of self-denial. Self-denial being, and we deny ourselves that which we truly desire to have. That's that which we truly deserve to have. You are worthy, Scorpio. So confront the guilt. It's one that I can't just say don't feel guilty, because like I'm also Saturn's bitch. I'm a double Capricorn. I know all about the guilt. But even if you've done things that weren't great, it's not about being wrong or right. We are authentic beings. There's a spectrum. There's a spectrum. And so that comes back to, well, if this is character building, we're going to be some characters. If you desire not to be the villain, then be more conscious about your interactions with others. And then also sometimes, especially being Scorpio energy, like sometimes, often, we're going to be cast in the role of the villain. I don't like being the villain, but when I know I'm standing in integrity, so bring it to that. I know I was in integrity, but then don't get defensive. Don't get defensive. Don't get guilty. And it's one thing to say don't. How about become aware of any tendencies or belief systems that bring you into feeling defensive, or bring you into feeling guilty, or bring you into feeling shame? Because that's not serving you, and that's not serving even the people who cast you in the role of villain. And sometimes we need to play the villain for others. Sometimes we need to play the villain for ourselves, if it means choosing ourselves, choosing our integrity, choosing what aligns to us, and honoring our inner no. Our inner no. I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to prove. Why don't you go fuck yourself? And I've created more trouble than I needed to with that last part. But sometimes you really just need to say it. So, going back into all of that. So let go of the guilt, or become aware of any tendencies to feel those emotions. Journal about it. Keep a journal with you and write about it if you can. Or just identify, like create an intention. What am I feeling so guilty about? What am I blocking? And I'm feeling it in my spine, and it's right at that solar plexus. Right at the solar plexus. Who is tapped into your personal power? What are you giving your power to? And who really benefits from it? Who benefits from you shrinking down and feeling bad about yourself and not allowing yourself to receive or to create all that you truly desire. Nobody really benefits from it. And if there is anyone who benefits from it, who the fuck are they? If they need you to be in that energy and they're benefiting from it, maybe those aren't the people that need to be benefited by your choices. And so choose you, choose you, choose you, again, with your wisdom. And I feel like there's some experience. There's so many cards wanting to come through. Then there's these mushrooms down here too. I don't know if you can see that, but so if you have any inclination to do psychedelics, I always say eat some mushrooms, do some psychedelics, eat some acid, whatever. Go to nature. Sit by a waterfall if you can, sit by a creek, a river, a lake, whatever. But I found that water really helps facilitate the release of emotions, really helps facilitate not only the release of emotions, but the processing of it to where we can understand what all that was. And we can start speaking our own truth to ourselves. And we can release trauma, and we can release guilt, and we can release all these things because we get clarity. When we don't have all those things blocking our view, we release all of those, and then we get clarity, and then we become more open to receiving solutions to whatever challenges have arisen or whatever. We receive the guidance, and we feel more clear to act on it. So, and so I feel like that's that guidance. This is like the king of water. Or actually I think he's like the high priest. In this deck, it's like, yeah, I think it kind of goes more like king and queen, and then like, sage and priestess or something like that. I'm still learning this deck, but so that's really neat. So that when you look at that, this is like divine spiritual guidance from the divine masculine of water, and water is a feminine element. So this is really about trusting your emotional guidance, really trusting where you're at emotionally, trusting where you're at emotionally, trusting where you're at spiritually, trusting that and listening to it, and then course correcting, allowing your wisdom to guide you into what is best for you. I hope this makes sense. I'm kind of channeling here, well, not even kind of, but just flowing that. And so I hope that makes sense, Scorpio. If you need any clarification, I'd be happy to clarify. Also, if you'd like a personal reading with me, there will be info below. But okay, we're not done. We've got 2, maybe 3 more cards. But so I love that we've got this high priest or king. I'm still learning, like I said. And then the counterpart, the high priestess or the queen. And so there's so much about listening to that emotional activity. And again, the water and the blue, it speaks to these 2 chakras, the third eye and the throat, and creating. But I love that at their third eyes, especially at his third eye, that it's all orange. Again, you're getting all this orange and blue. So it's time for you to create with intention, Scorpio. I can't say it enough. And so really, I feel like it's activating your vision, your third eye, activating that vision, that sight. What do you really envision for yourself? What is a true, authentic, sovereign, creative vision or intention for yourself, whatever it is that you want to manifest? And here she's got this pearl. So one thing about, I'm just like receiving about pearls, they're layer upon layer. So maybe if you haven't watched Shrek in a while, or just look it up on YouTube, but ogres are like onions. So what's because onions have layers. You can be a parfait, whatever, but pearls have layers. But there's also something, so there's layers, but then it's buried deep within the oyster. So there's something about things becoming uncovered, and I feel like it's a more profound, almost like high priestess energy of bringing through the divine wisdom to give insight into these traumas and these past things that we're grieving. It's like getting underneath, getting into the layers, and getting to the beauty, getting to the pearl of who you truly are, and what's underneath that grief, and where is the child underneath, or the being of you, the truth of you underneath that is beautiful. Again, it's like finding that vulnerable, almost fragile, but beautiful, and roses often also can, they're like the highest vibrational being in this third dimensional world, in this third dimensional existence. So it's that which is most sacred within you. And so I feel like, so with these two, I love how they pair them. You know, we went into that and about activating what you know and standing in your power, invoking your power and utilizing it and allowing yourself to be powerful and enjoy it. And then here again with that finding the pearl, there's something, it's like a clairvoyance in a way. And maybe Scorpio, more and more you guys are getting visions. Maybe there is a lot more clairvoyance coming through, a lot more I don't know, pearl vision. There's something about that. There's something about some sort of clarity from the depth of your being. And it feels like to nourish that, you need to like have the discipline and the mastery. Learn to master yourself. So meditation is very good. Psychedelics in nature to nourish yourself, to replenish yourself. One of my best friends calls it clearing the cobwebs. So, well, I call it that now too because I have, but it's clearing the cobwebs to get that clarity. And there's something pearlescent. There's something about the light. Maybe it's a reflecting. That pearl doesn't want to let me go. There's something about reflecting the light within, and that I don't know. Something about it can catch the light from within. It can shimmer from within. There's a chatoyance to your inner being, your inner light that wants to come through your vision. Yeah, because her eyes are pearled over too. I don't know if you can see that. But then, yeah, this being, and this is a master. This is mastery. And so I love how with these two beings who are so tuned in to their psychic abilities and their intuition and all of that emotional, spiritual stuff, that third eye vision stuff. And then we've got these two masters here. And so just really connect to that, please. Connect to the balance of both energies, the receiving energy, the more feminine receiving energy, and the more masculine activating energy. I always like to speak of like a battery, how one end is the male, the activating, and the other end is the female, the receiving, and how the one activates the current, the other one receives the current. But then there's a magic that happens between the two of them that allows this current to keep activating and this current to keep receiving. There's a beautiful reciprocity, I guess is a word that wants to come through, but and really even a synthesis. There's a synthesizing that there's something that an amalgamation, all these words, but it's like where the two become one, and then they disperse again, and then they become one, and then they disperse again. There's something about that, some sort of a unification in this mastery and in taking this power back and understanding, again, with this raven here, the black of the raven, and raven represents creative energy, creative flow, the power of creation. And so I love that there's illumination and activation here. And then there's this, from the darkness in the womb, the black represents the womb. It's the place of all potentiality, the place of all possibilities. And then there's this activating force, but you activate from within. Again, prime reality is within, Scorpio. Prime reality. I know I already sang it. But so there's this big activation. So I feel like definitely do, if you're into doing chakra work, but even if it's not your chakras per se, I would say give much focus to your spine. Focus on bringing golden light down and through your spine and flow it into the earth. And then you can bring earth energy up through your spine and flow it to the central light, to the central sun, or source energy. However, or you can flow it all into your aura field. Whatever you feel that you need that most nourishes you. You can give to the planet and you can give back to source, but you've got to be replenished in yourself first. You've got to be nourished in yourself. Your cup needs to be overflowing, and then look how much you have to share. So much is like focus on yourself, focus on your health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of that well-being. Really connect with yourself. Trust your inner guidance, trust your power, stand in your authority, take your fucking power back, and live a life of intention. Live a sovereign life of authenticity. And then the last card that we'll do is the Three of Earth. Three of Pentacles is what it would be. And so I love that it's this, this fella is planting acorns with this squirrel. Is that fucking funny or what? Squirrel. Are you kidding me? But but they're planting the seeds together. So somehow make friends with your squirrels and allow those to be the magic seeds that you plant to cultivate your new reality. All right, that's it for me, Scorpio. Love and peace, and until next time.